Anna Botting, talking about the big beast now. Anna Botting is in Uxbridge in West London. We're talking about the Prime Minister's seat, Anna. What's going on there?
We're actually talking about the Shadow Chancellor's seat, John McDonnell, Hayes and Harlington. The result just come in. John McDonnell won it, but while he was making his acceptance speech, talking about people waking up in poverty, food banks and climate change, people started shouting at him. First of all, terrorists.
Can I thank the returning officer and all their staff for the hard work that they've put in, and also the police who've given us such excellent security. Tonight's results clearly are extremely disappointing for the Labour Party, and I know that there will be many of our supporters and many of our members will be heartbroken by what's happened today. Their hopes of a Labour government have now been stalled again. But I just say to them that I don't believe that this was a rejection of our policy programme. Clearly, this was the result of a decision many people took on the issue of Brexit, and it was clearly the Brexit issue that dominated this election. But I say very clearly that I do fear for the future of our people. I fear for those who are queuing in the food banks still. I fear for those 4 million children who are living in poverty. I fear for the 135,000 of them, children who are homeless and have no decent roof over their heads. I believe that the younger generation in particular now will be fearful of the future of this planet as a result of the threat of climate change. And for that reason I say this: there is hope, and there will be hope. Their hopes may have had a setback today, but they are not dashed. And in the words of Joe Hill, now's not the time to mourn, now's the time to organise. And that's exactly what we will now do. We'll listen to the people and the lessons that the results today have taught us, and we will It is quite clear that there are fears also now for our democracy and the rise of the extreme right. But I say now that we will organise and we will ensure this type of democracy will reign, that our democratic wishes of our people will be respected, and this sort of extreme right-wing violence will not be tolerated within our society. Thank you very much.
So the response there of John McDonnell as he walks away, but it shows really the febrile atmosphere that we've been brought to during this campaign, and now he of course blaming the far right. We have to say, do not know who it was who was scuffling there in the background, but even during the postal voting we saw arguments here as well, so clearly tensions running high. Kate McCann, you're here certainly. Very extraordinary scenes here at a count with somebody so senior, Shadow Chancellor.
Yeah, you can really feel the tension in the room, and you could see there from that footage just how kind of violent really that fight was. It was a proper punch thrown. Somebody was punched in the head.
No, we're just going to go to Boris Johnson arriving at his count. I should warn you, there's quite a lot of flash photography here, so let's just put that out there. But here he is arriving at his count. Clearly a fantastic night for him and his party. We started this evening with the dim possibility that he might lose his own seat. That seems incredibly unlikely at this juncture. His supporters, I think, have kept it relatively low-key. You may have remembered James Cleverly, sort of his interview a while ago, clearly under very strict instructions from Tory Central Office not to gloat or say that it was a terrific night. Paul, you've followed Boris Johnson all the way through. This is clearly a very good night for him. Did you expect this? Do you think he expected this?
I think at the start of the campaign, it was clearly what they were dreaming of, Tom. And then as that campaign progressed, the nerves set in. He had those wobbles, didn't he, over the floods in South Yorkshire. He also had a bit of a wobble over the NHS in the final few days. I spoke to one aide going into Downing Street this evening who said they would be happy with any majority they could get their hands on. And then an exit poll came in, and suddenly they just could not believe their luck. And Boris Johnson, as he arrived here this evening, looked pretty damn happy, coming here with his girlfriend, some of his senior advisors with him too. I managed to have a quick word with him just off camera. He said things were generally going in the right direction for him. It was still a little bit too early for him to be overconfident. Now, I think we all know the direction that this election is going in. Uxbridge at one point was considered a bit of a risky seat for Boris Johnson. It is the smallest majority any Prime Minister has had since 1924, about 5,000. No Prime Minister has ever lost their seat while sitting as Prime Minister. I don't think that's going to happen, though, tonight, Tom, despite a huge effort to try and unseat him. A real eclectic mix of candidates here. We've got Count Binface, we've got Lord Buckethead, we've got Elmo from Sesame Street. The big contender, of course, though, is the Labour Party, a candidate called Ali Milani, a 25-year-old Iranian immigrant. He has had supporters pouring into the seat to try and oust Boris Johnson. It is an interesting constituency. We're here at the count at Brunel University, so a big student vote here, but also a seat which voted leave in the referendum. And Boris Johnson didn't actually vote here today. He voted back in Westminster, which perhaps gives you a hint that he doesn't think it's going to come down to just one or two votes. So he comes here on a winning streak this evening. I don't think Uxbridge is going to break that streak.
I think that's Carrie, his girlfriend, with the dog there we're looking at.
Absolutely.
Clearly everyone is very happy in Downing Street. Paul, thank you very much indeed. The Uxbridge result, we believe, is not quite imminent, but not too far away. And
Ladies and gentlemen, I, Lloyd White, being the acting returning officer for the election of a Member of Parliament for the Uxbridge and South Ruislip constituency, do hereby give notice that the number of votes recorded for each candidate is as follows. Harvey Jonathan David, commonly known as Count Binface, Independent, 69. Hughes David Stephen, commonly known as Lord Buckethead, the official Monster Raving Loony Party, 125. Burke Norma, Independent, 22. Courtney Jeffrey Dennis, UK Independence Party, 283. Humphreys Joanne Ilone, Liberal Democrats to Stop Brexit, 3,026. Hey. Johnson Alexander Boris de Pfeffel, commonly known as Boris Johnson, the Conservative Party candidate, 25,000. 25,351. Kia Mark Allen, Green Party, 1,090. Milani Ali Riza, Labour Party, 18,141. Smith Robert Jr., commonly known as Bobby Elmo Smith, 8. Tobin William John, 5. Utting Alfie John, Independent, 44. Jorgenstein Yace, commonly known as Yace Interplanetary Time Lord Jorgenstein, 23. The number of rejected ballot papers was 93, and I hereby declare that the said Boris Johnson is duly elected.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Returning Officer. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much. And listen, I don't want to tempt fate, because clearly lots of results are still coming in, and we're still only dealing with projections. But at this stage, it does look as though this One Nation Conservative government has been given a powerful new mandate to get Brexit done. And not just to get Brexit done, but to unite this country and to take it forward and to focus on the priorities of the British people, and above all, on the NHS. And yes, we will recruit 50,000 more nurses and 6,000 more GPs, and we will build 40 new hospitals. And I'm proud to say that one of those across the country, and one of those hospitals will be right here in Uxbridge and South Ruislip. And I'm grateful once again to the people of Uxbridge and South Ruislip for returning me to serve you. It is an absolute privilege to do this job and to work for you. And I thank once again the police, the council, everybody who's worked so hard all night to count for us, the returning officers. I thank my fellow candidates in all their glory, Lord Buckethead and others, Elmo and others. Forgive me if I don't identify them all. But above all, I want to thank the people of this country for turning out to vote in a December election that we didn't want to call, but which I think has turned out to be a historic election that gives us now, in this new government, the chance to respect the democratic will of the British people, to change this country for the better, and to unleash the potential of the entire people of this country. And that is what we will now do, and if we are lucky enough to be returned, as the exit polls seem to suggest, then that work will begin tomorrow. Thank you all very much. Or rather, I should say not tomorrow, today.